Wealth was never going to arrive in your life. It was waiting for a decision. Today you make it, and watch what obeys. There is a moment, one single moment, that separates the people who circle their dreams forever from the people who quietly walk into them. It isn't a windfall. It isn't luck, timing, or talent. It's a decision. Not the kind you've made before, the soft kind, the I really should kind, the New Year's kind that dissolves by February. A real decision. The kind that closes doors behind it. In the next 10 minutes, you'll learn what an actual decision is made of and why most people have never truly made one. The difference between wanting wealth and being wealthy, and the identity gap where every manifestation dies. How reality visibly reorganizes itself around genuine conviction. And a 3-step evening ritual to make the decision tonight in a way your deeper mind accepts as final. By the end of this video, "I want to be wealthy" will sound like a stranger's sentence. Let's begin. The word decide carries a blade inside it. It originally meant to cut off. The same cutting edge that lives in words like homicide and pesticide lives in decide. A real decision is not a preference. It is a cutting, the death of every alternative. When you truly decide, you don't choose wealth from a menu that still lists struggle as an option. You take struggle off the menu entirely, and this is why most people have never actually decided anything about money. They've hoped with intensity. They've wanted with volume. They've set goals the way you set a table, knowing it can always be cleared. But underneath, every option stayed alive. Maybe wealth, maybe not, we'll see how it goes. People like me usually. That is not a decision. That is a negotiation with the old identity. And the old identity always wins negotiations, because it's the one holding the pen. Think of the difference in your own body. Recall something you merely wanted. Feel how it floats, weightless, somewhere in front of you. Now recall something you decided, truly decided, perhaps in a single quiet moment nobody witnessed. Leaving the job, ending the relationship, becoming a parent, a non-smoker, a person who no longer does that thing. Feel the difference. A decision doesn't float in front of you. It closes behind you, like a door with no handle on the other side. A real decision has 3 signatures. It is made once. You don't redecide daily. You decided, past tense, finished. It requires no evidence. The verdict comes before the proof, never after. And it ends the search. The decided mind stops shopping for methods and starts acting from the answer. Hold those 3, because in a few minutes you'll make one with all 3 signatures intact. You've seen this moment in your own history, even if you never named it. Somewhere in your past there was a night, a drive home, a walk around the block, when something in you simply closed. Maybe you'd tolerated a situation for years, and then between one breath and the next, it was over. You didn't announce it. You didn't feel fireworks. You felt something quieter and far more final. The sound of a door you knew you would never open again. And notice, the circumstances didn't change that night. The job was still there in the morning. The habit still lived in the cupboard. But you were no longer the person those circumstances belonged to. And within weeks, sometimes days, the outer world caught up to the inner verdict. Because it always does. That is the mechanism you're about to point at wealth. But before you can decide to be wealthy, you have to see the trap that catches almost everyone. The gap between wanting it and being it. Here is the mechanism almost nobody sees. The law of assumption doesn't respond to what you ask for. It responds to who you are being while you ask. And wanting, the very act of wanting, is being someone who doesn't have. Listen to the 2 sentences from the inside. I want to be wealthy. Feel where that sentence is standing. Outside the house, looking through the window, nose against the glass. Now the other. I am wealthy. Feel where that one stands. Inside, by the fire, unimpressed by the furniture because it's simply theirs. Same words about the same house, spoken from opposite sides of the wall. And reality, which only ever mirrors the speaker's position, builds more window for the first voice, and more fireside for the second. This is the identity gap. The space between the wanter and the haver, and it is where every failed manifestation died. Not from weak desire, from strong desire held in the wrong identity. The person spent years wanting harder, which only deepened the groove of being someone who wants. They were rehearsing lack with tremendous discipline. Here's a way to feel how deep this runs. Your identity works like a thermostat. Set to struggle, it doesn't just tolerate lack, it maintains it. Let a little extra money enter the room, and the old setting quietly opens a window. The surprise expense, the impulse purchase, the strange urgency to get rid of surplus and return to the familiar temperature. You've watched people do this. You may have watched yourself do this and called it bad luck. It was never luck. It was regulation, and this is precisely why more effort at the same setting changes nothing. You cannot out-hustle your own thermostat. You can only reset it, and the dial is not effort. The dial is identity. So the whole move, is not to want wealth more. It is to close the gap by stepping across it. Identity is not built brick by brick from evidence. That's the old world story. In the law of assumption, identity moves first, and evidence follows it the way a shadow follows a body. You decide who is walking, and the world decides what surrounds them. The wealthy state you're stepping into isn't grandiosity. It's quieter than that. It's the end of the low hum, the unclenched jaw at the checkout, the calm of someone whose needs are simply handled. You've felt minutes of it before. The decision makes it your address instead of your holiday. And when the address changes, when the being changes, because it does something. A person who has genuinely decided is a different object in the world, and the world responds to different objects differently. Watch how it happens from the inside out. First, perception reorganizes. Your brain filters almost everything out of awareness. It has to. What it lets through is whatever matches your dominant assumption. The undecided mind is tuned to threat and shortage, so it's shown prices, risks, and reasons to wait. The decided mind is tuned to the fulfilled end, and suddenly the world seems strangely cooperative. The idea in the shower, the conversation that opens a door, the resource that was always there but never visible. The world didn't add these things. Your decision unhid them. You already know this filter personally. The day you chose your car, or even seriously considered it, the road filled with that exact model. The week you learned a new word, it appeared in 3 conversations. Nothing multiplied. Your instruction to the filter changed, and the filter obeyed within hours. Now understand what you've been instructing it to find, year after year, with every rehearsal of not enough, and understand what happens when the instruction becomes, show me the way it's already working. Second, action reorganizes, without effort. This is what people misunderstand about assumption. It isn't passivity. It's that action changes owners. The wanter acts from anxiety, scattered, grasping, checking. The haver acts from the end, fewer moves, cleaner moves, made with the strange efficiency of someone who already knows how the story resolves. Same day, same hours, entirely different hands on the wheel. Third, and this is the part that feels like magic but is simply consistency. Other people reorganize. Everyone you meet unconsciously reads your assumption of yourself and answers it. Speak from lack and the world hears a request. Speak from the end and it hears a fact. Doors are opened for the person who has already walked through them inwardly. Domino by domino, iron filings around a magnet. Not because the universe checked your bank balance, because conviction is the one thing reality has never been able to ignore. So the question is no longer whether it works. The question is tonight. Here is exactly how you make the decision, in 3 steps, before you sleep. Tonight before sleep you'll make the decision with the same weight as the ones that changed your life before. 3 steps. 10 minutes. Once. Step 1. The verdict. Sit somewhere quiet with a page and write 1 sentence, by hand in ink. Tonight, your name, I decide. I am wealthy, and the matter is closed. Read it once aloud if you can, in the voice you'd use to state your own name. Not hope, not hype. Verdict. Feel the gavel in it somewhere in your chest. Something goes quiet the way a courtroom goes quiet when the ruling lands. Step 2. The cutting. Under the verdict, write the alternatives you are taking off the menu. The old lines. Maybe someday. People like me don't. I'll believe it when I see it. Write them small, then draw 1 slow line through each. You are not fighting these thoughts. You're retiring them. They may still knock in the coming days, old tenants often do, but they no longer hold keys. When they knock, you won't argue. You'll simply remember. Decided. And a word about the week that follows the ritual, because the first days after a decision are where the old identity makes its counteroffer. Nothing dramatic, just small invitations back. A bill designed to test you, a relative's remark, a morning where the old hum tries to restart like a habit reaching for a switch. Expect them. They are not evidence against your decision. They are the echo of the person you were, arriving on a delay, the way light from a dead star still reaches Earth. You don't know the echo or response. Each time one arrives, you place your attention back on the verdict, calmly, without drama, the way you'd correct your lane on an empty road. Decided is not a feeling you maintain, it's a fact you return to. Step 3. The first act of the new owner. Close the book, feel the small finality of the cover, and then before sleep, perform one tiny action only the wealthy version of you would take. Not a purchase, a posture. Tidy the wallet like it holds serious money. Set tomorrow's coffee like a person whose mornings are calm. Then take the decided feeling, that quiet, closed-door certainty, into bed and let it be the last thing you carry into sleep. Over frequencies like these, where the deeper mind takes every verdict as final. Made once, no evidence required, search over. If you're making the decision tonight, subscribe. This channel exists for exactly this work, with new law of assumption sessions every week, each one carried on theta binaural beats. And to keep the decided state with you while you work, walk, and fall asleep, download Gone by Dualfield, our binaural beats app, linked in the description. Some people are still waiting for wealth to arrive. You're no longer one of them. The verdict is in, the matter is closed.